Well, in the heat of the 2016 presidential election, Jim Comey calling this now infamous press conference regarding the Clinton investigation.
Although we did not find clear evidence that Secretary Clinton or her colleagues intended to violate laws governing the handling of classified information, there is evidence that they were extremely careless in their handling of very sensitive, highly classified information.
Well, now in his new book coming out this week, the former FBI director explains his thought process at that time.
But our next guest says that egregious move was just one of the many reasons the FBI botched the Clinton investigation. Joining us now is former special counsel to President Bill Clinton and the author of The Unmaking of the President 2016, Lanny Davis. Lanny, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning. Fine.
So you say that
Sobered.
We have not one but two violations of due process. This is what you shared documents with the DOJ's Inspector General. Explain to us what you've laid out.
That quote is a firing offense. There isn't a federal prosecutor or a state attorney general or a state prosecutor that would say that a detective or an investigator, much less an FBI director, is allowed to characterize evidence without an indictment. There's an expression in the Justice Department: we don't shame without charging. James Comey violated that rule. He should have been fired then by Loretta Lynch and President Obama.
Yet you were calling for James Comey's firing back under the Obama years. I want to remind our audience the letter, the James Comey letter back in October 2016 to Congress, which was the reopening of the Clinton email investigation. It says the FBI has learned of the existence of emails that appear to be pertinent to the investigation. I agree the FBI should take appropriate investigative steps designed to allow investigators to review these emails. You say that is one example of violating due process, right?
More than yet, yes, it's a violation of due process to reveal what an investigator is doing in a federal investigation. It is also a firing offense to publicly reveal what you're doing in a criminal investigation. Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein said it's a false choice to say conceal versus speak. A federal investigator must be silent before an indictment so someone can get due process. Moreover, Mr. Comey is lying when he said he was, quote, obligated to write that letter because he promised Congress. He now knows that that's a false statement. A knowing false statement is a lie. He knows all he said to Congress is, I will, quote, look at new information. He never said, I will turn over something to you where I haven't looked. Had he looked first, we now know it took 6 days to determine there was nothing there and Hillary Clinton would be president. But he's now lying on all his television interviews, including tonight on ABC, which I saw a clip of, where he says he was, quote, obligated to do so because he promised Congress. That is a knowing falsehood because he knows the facts, and I call it a lie.
Lanny, let me ask you, because James Comey also raises some questions about Attorney General Loretta Lynch. You actually say that she should have fired Comey. Is that correct?
Well, she recused herself because of the unfortunate visit that occurred on the airstrip in Phoenix by President Clinton. But Deputy Attorney General Sally Yates on October 27th, 2016, could have picked up the phone and ordered Comey not to send his letter. She knowingly chose not to. And for the rest of her life, she will know it's on her hands that we have Donald Trump as president, because she could have ordered Comey not to send the letter. And Comey himself knew that he violated over 50 years of Justice Department policy by doing anything within 11 days of a presidential election that could impact the election. But you know what? Comey gets to decide which rules to follow and which rules not to. You know why? Because he's James Comey. And that should not be. He's an FBI director reporting to the Deputy Attorney General, the Attorney General, and the President. He's not a power unto himself.
All right. Well, you mentioned that interview on ABC. It's airing tonight. George Stephanopoulos sitting down with former FBI Director James Comey. And in one of the questions, I don't know if you've seen this specific part, he asked James Comey about the decision to reopen the Clinton email investigation and whether or not the polling or thinking that Hillary Clinton was ultimately going to win had an impact on his decision. Let's play some of that.
At some level, wasn't the decision to reveal influenced by your assumption that Hillary Clinton was going to win.
It must have been. I don't remember consciously thinking about that, but it must have been, because I was operating in a world where Hillary Clinton was going to beat Donald Trump.
It was a good question. What did you make of his answer, though? A lot of eyebrows have been raised from that.
Only a narcissist who thinks he's above everybody and he gets to decide what to do would answer that way. And it's disgusting that we have an FBI director who puts himself above the law, above the Attorney General and the President. He gets to decide what's best for the country, that he didn't want Hillary Clinton to be elected without writing a speculative letter that 6 days later turned out to be about nothing. Look, I respect Comey for standing up to Donald Trump, who asked for personal loyalty, an offense against the Constitution, in my judgment. It's the only thing I respect about Comey. Everything else is a renegade narcissist who thought that the FBI and Mr. McCabe as well were above the law. They could get to do whatever they want to do to protect themselves, when what he was really doing was protecting his political rear end with the Republicans, because he thought that Hillary Clinton was going to get elected.
Lanny, thank you so much. The author of Unmaking of the President 2016.
Words there. Thank you, Lanny.
Thank you very much, sir.
All right.